welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review, as you can tell by the title, of all the books I've read of Colleen Hoover. Now, if you don't know who Colleen Hoover is, I'm not sure what social media you're following because Colleen Hoover has been the outcome of like 2020, I feel, after everyone was home in COVID. Here is my dog. Say hi, Chippy. It's been so long. So if you don't know who Colleen Hoover is, I think that she's like the main author going around right now, especially for love stories. I feel like after 2020, when everyone was just stuck at home and finding things to do, people started getting an interest in reading again, and Colleen Hoover has definitely been like that outbreak author all of a sudden that people are raving about. So I've read a couple of her books and I wanted to go ahead and kind of do like a review of the ones I've read. I haven't read all of them and I'm planning to, so if you have any recommendations that I haven't read, drop them in the comments below because I am always updating my reading list. If you don't follow me on Goodreads, I'm gonna put it right here. So please follow me. I love making new friends on Goodreads. I love getting different recommendations of what to read. So follow me because I will totally read the books that you recommend. I don't want to use this video as like a spoiler of the books that I've read, but I might like say a couple of details just to kind of express the way I feel about it, why I'm giving it that certain rating. So if you're not into spoilers, or if you haven't read the book that I'm going to mention and you want to just skip, please skip, or just don't watch, or like watch on mute so you give me a view. Just kidding. But yeah, I might say some spoilers just to kind of express how I feel. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with November 9th. So this was probably like the fourth book that I read from Colleen Hoover. So I already loved her as an author. I love the way that she wrote her books, but for some reason, November 9th is not my favorite book, okay? I'm going to rate this a 3 out of 5. And the only reason I feel that way is because I just didn't really connect to the love story. Like the fact that these people fell in love in one day, I just don't get it. I don't understand why they could only meet each other once a year on November 9th. Like, come on, can we be a little bit more realistic here? And I'm no one to judge. If you want to fall in love in one day, by all means. Hey, I know that, you know, love at first sight is a thing. I've just never really experienced that, so to me it kind of felt like not much of a connection there. But this one did have like a huge plot twist that kept me engaged. So although I wasn't connected to the love story, I was connected to the plot, where I was like, holy crap, I need to find out what's gonna happen, because I would have never seen it coming. So I really like the plot that happens between the couple. I just don't really love the love story. So if you're more into this kind of love story and you're cool with it, you would definitely give it a higher rating. The date just wasn't like an aspect to me, but it is still super engaging. It's still a great book. It's just not one of my favorites of hers, so I'm gonna have to give this a 3 out of 5. The next book I want to go ahead and talk about is Reminders of Him. So this book was very, very tough to read, and not because it wasn't interesting. It was just I could not stop crying, guys. Like once I started crying, there was no ending of the crying. Like there was one night where I was probably like midway through the book, something like this left, and I read it all in one night because I needed to know how this book was going to end. So like once I started crying halfway through, there was no ending it for me. It is such a unique storyline between the characters, and look at Chippy. So yeah, it is such a unique storyline between the two, you know, characters that are falling in love, and it is so it's so realistic because it is something that can definitely happen, especially this day and age, because so many people forget that, you know, an accident can really change people's lives in the matter of an instant, okay? And we have to remember how important it is for not only you, the effects that you're gonna have to your own family, but the person you're with, the person that you might hit. So like this just really hit me in a deep place, and although I didn't really like connect to the love story that were happening, because again, I haven't gone through this, but that story was just, I could totally understand how Kenna felt as a character, and then I could totally understand how the family, the other side of the family, feels about Kenna, because like, if that was my son, bitch, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna like you either. So it is such a hard story to read because you're so like tied in between both sides. You understand both sides, but at the end of the day, you know, that person does need a chance. They didn't mean it. So it's just so hard. And I'm so happy about the way that Colleen decided to write this story. I just loved it. The ending is beautiful. It's a beautiful book. If you love to cry, this is a great book for you to read. If you hate to cry, I don't recommend reading it because, I mean, unless you're someone who doesn't really get emotional about books, then you'll probably read it with no problem. But I don't know what's up with me lately. I'm like not really an emotional person, I don't think. But lately these books, like, they got me crying, and I don't know where it's coming from, but Colleen has a way of like tearing my heart out. So this is definitely a 5 out of 5 for me. I really, really like this book. Okay, the next book you're definitely gonna hate me a little bit for, but bear with me, let me explain what's going on here, okay? It Ends With Us. I feel like this is the book of Colleen that has gone viral, okay? Like anywhere, anybody you talk to, they know about It Ends With Us. They probably don't even know who Colleen Hoover is, and they've read It Ends With Us. So I definitely think that this is the most viral book that she's come out with, and I just felt like the hype of it, I kind of read it once the hype was already happening, and I think I was expecting so much from it that I wasn't like a huge fan of it. I'm gonna have to rate this a 3 out of 5, and listen to me. This is what's happening. First of all, Ryle in this book, I really liked, okay? And when the whole drama started happening with Ryle, I kind of was on Lily's side. I was like, give him a chance. It was a mistake. He didn't mean to do it. So in this book, I was still on Ryle's side, and I'm sorry for anybody who's ever gone through, you know, abuse like that. I haven't gone through it, so I don't know what that's like, but I know that it is tough to leave someone that's treating you wrong because you love them so much. And by no means am I telling someone to stay in that relationship, because if you're ready to go, you gotta go. But for the purpose of the writing in this book and the feelings that Lily had, I was kind of with her. I was like, all right, I understand why she's giving him a chance. And on Atlas in this book, I wasn't like extremely a fan of Atlas, because to me it kind of felt like, you know, it was something in the past. You've moved on to Ryle. I think we need to move on from Atlas. Like, just leave him in the past. Another thing I wasn't really a fan of in this book is her letters to Ellen. Does anybody else feel this way? Like, I don't know, I just felt like the letters to Ellen was such a fluff, and I understand that it was part of the story between her and Atlas, but it just took me forever to read those chapters whenever there was a letter to Ellen. Like, I was just like, oh, another one, come on, get through this. So I still think that it's a good plot twist in this book. You know, Colleen does a great way of writing plot twists, because something will happen that you never freaking expect to happen, even though you like kind of get a gist of the story. So I still love the plot twist. I'm not a fan of the writing in this book. Still a good book. I still read it, and I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Now, to keep in touch or keep, you know, connected to this book, I did read It Starts With Us because I'm that person where, like, if you saw something or if you read something that has a sequel or it's a series, like, I have to finish it. I already started, so I can't not read this book. So I actually like It Starts With Us more than It Ends With Us. I thought it was so much better. You really get to understand Atlas as a character, and in this book, I'm done with Ryle, y'all. Like, get out. I don't know what you need to do, but get out of Lily's life. She does not need you. And it just goes to show me like how much a person that you have a kid with can affect your entire life if that does not work out. Because think about it, if Lily didn't have a kid with Ryle, she could live happily ever after with Atlas and not ever have to worry about Ryle. But because they have Emerson, like, now her life, it revolves around making that kind of, not marriage, but relationship with Ryle work. And it's such a freaking struggle because that guy has problems. Like, I know she sends him to like anger management classes or whatever. I really hope that that helps him somehow, but sir, you need to relax, because, and I know there's people out there that really do exist like that, and I'm just like, can you imagine being in a situation like that? Ladies, be careful, because it's just, oh. But yeah, I officially do not like him. We're done there. The only person that I really ended up, you know, liking here was Atlas. He's such a gentleman, and you know, stories like this kind of piss me off, because I'm like, what guy in this world is this perfect? You know, like Atlas is such a good guy to Lily, and he cares so much about things that he doesn't have to care about because it's not his life, you know. And the fact that he cares because he loves her so much, just the story is, that love story is just beautiful. Now, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because I felt like the ending of this book was very abrupt. Like, they went from being together to moving in together to getting married. Like, everything was so fast towards the last chapters. I kind of felt like she rushed the writing, whereas the beginning, it took time to like develop. And then once they were together, it was like, all right, bam. And like, I'm surprised she didn't end up pregnant. So to me, I didn't like that. And I also was not a fan of Atlas's vows to Lily. If you don't know me, I'm someone who has not a problem, but I struggle to really believe in marriage. And I don't know why, because my whole family, literally I can't think of a person that has gotten a divorce. So my family is very much together. They work out their problems. You know, marriage isn't perfect. I'm aware that, hey, my parents fight and they're gonna hate each other for a night, and then, you know, they're back to normal the next day. So I've never really had like a traumatic experience with divorce, but I do think it's very hard to love someone for the rest of your life and not lose that feeling, or, you know, meet someone else that you might say, hey, damn, I actually love this person more. Like, there's just so much that can happen in a marriage that it's really hard for me to believe that monogamy is a thing. And Atlas makes it a point in his vows that like divorce is a possibility, and that to me is like, I don't want to hear that on my wedding day. You know what I mean? Like, it was beautiful because he was able to like tie it that, you know, he rather go through all of that, and as long as he has Lily and blah blah blah. But please, whoever marries me, or I don't know if I'm gonna get married, but if I do and you happen to write vows to me, don't bring up the fact that divorce is a possibility. I know it is a possibility. I know everything that can, you know, happen, but I don't think it has to be written in a vow. You know what I mean? And I felt like he mentioned it a lot, not just like, oh, divorce is a possibility and blah blah blah. Like, he kept on. So that I wasn't a huge fan of. So that's why I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. The ending and the vows just wasn't for me. Was it like terrible vows? No, it was still beautiful. I just don't exclude that, you know? Okay. Now, because I talked about those books, I have a little bit of drama to talk about, okay? I don't know if you guys follow Colleen Hoover on Instagram, but I was randomly scrolling about 2 days ago, and I noticed that she posted a coloring book for It Ends With Us. And I was like, Colleen Hoover's coming out with a coloring book, like an adult coloring book. You know how there's, you know, those flowers or whatever that adults use to kind of just like ease their mind. So Colleen was coming out with one for this book. I saw that, let's say, on a Monday, and I was like, oh my god, how cool. I don't really use adult coloring books. I used to, like when I was in college, but honestly I have no time. When I do have free time, I want to read books. I don't want to color. So I was kind of just gonna get it to like support Colleen because I like her, or, you know, like if by chance I happen to have some free time, I'll color. But I kind of just wanted to see what the book was like. The next day, I see that on her Instagram, she posts like a story explaining that her and the publisher have decided to not publish the coloring book. And I was like, what the heck happened? Like, this literally was shown yesterday. So I'm reading through the comments, and these people were really saying that they cannot believe that she was bringing to life the abuse that Lily went through in the book. Hold on, guys. So because she brought a coloring book that's called It Ends With Us, mind you, the cover was literally flowers, okay? They assumed that she was bringing light to abuse. Now, I don't know what that book looked like inside. I don't think anybody knew because the book wasn't out, and the only thing she posted was the cover of the coloring book that had flowers. Did people think that they were gonna color Lily and Ryle like punching each other? I'm just confused. Like, you guys support the book because you read it, you love it, you've never complained about the book. I'm almost positive if she came out with a movie, the line to watch the movie would be From Here to California, and I live in Miami. So I'm just wondering, where do you draw the line of I'm supporting abuse? Like, that's not what she was doing, people. She was bringing out a coloring book of a book that she already wrote that you guys already loved. And I'm pretty sure the book was just gonna be flowers. Or like, I mean, Lily is a florist. So like, what did you think was gonna happen? I'm very confused. Now, I don't know what's inside the book. I would love to see what's inside the book. If, you know, you see Ryle throwing down Lily down the stairs, all right, then unpublish the book. Maybe we shouldn't be coloring that because we're not supporting that. But I think everybody needed to take a little chill pill and see the book before we judge something that we assumed she was making light of. So I just wanted to have a quick little rant because that didn't make sense to me. I wanted a color. Like, come on. What is your opinion on that? Do you think it should have been unpublished? Comment down below. Let me know. All right, the next book I'm going to be talking about is Ugly Love. If you know me, you know that this book right here, if I could read it over and over again and be like reading it for the first time, I would totally do that because this is my favorite book in the entire world. Okay, I am obviously going to give this book a 5 out of 5. I cannot say enough good things about it, and it's because of my connection to the love story between Miles and Tate. Okay, my love story is this book. Down to, like, you know, them being sibling friends and the forbidden love, and that whole theme is just everything I've ever gone through. So I'm reading this book and my heart was like getting ripped out of my chest because I understand everything that they were going through. And I just, like, Colleen couldn't have written a better book in my eyes. I cried so much. And it's just a beautiful book, guys, and I'm probably just really biased because I connect to the characters so much. If you don't really connect to them, I know some people that don't really like the book, or it's not their favorite Colleen Hoover book, but this book would just always have my heart. Besides the love story and like the background of their love story, because that's mainly what I love about it, I also think that the plot twist to this book was like a game changer. I was not expecting to read that. That was another thing that like threw me off, and I was totally crying because of what happens. I'm not gonna really spoil it, but this plot twist was not expected. So I definitely give this book a 5 out of 5. I think the love story is beautiful. The plot twist is a great plot twist. Again, it's Colleen with her plot twist, so that was great. Everything just hit really close to home for me. So this is a book that I'm always gonna recommend, especially if you love a good romance story. This is a great one. All right, guys, and then last but not least, I read Verity, and I'm going to have to give this a 5 out of 5 because it is such a different type of book compared to everything else of Colleen. So this is not really a romance book. I think of it more of like a thriller. It's kind of like eerie, to be honest. She does some things in this book that I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, what? How did you even think of doing this? This was actually the first Colleen book I ever read. So I actually read this a long time ago, and I know that when I read it, I was in a haze of like who to believe, the manuscript or the letter. I don't even remember now what exactly what side I was on, but I always see it on like TikTok and Twitter, people kind of like going at it again once they read it. I would have to kind of like reread that and see what exactly it was that I thought at the time. I also know that she came out with a book that has an epilogue, which I haven't read. I probably do have to go ahead and read that, and maybe that gives me some more information. But Verity was a really good story, especially if you're not into romance and you're more of like a thriller. I would definitely recommend Verity as a choice. So I would give this a 5 out of 5 as well. But yeah, guys, those are all the Colleen Hoover books that I've read. I really enjoy reading her. She's a great author. She knows how to write. She knows how to give those plot twists that will keep you at the edge of your seat. So I definitely plan on continuing to read her books. I'm taking a little break from Colleen because I am reading Love and Other Words right now. So hopefully my next book review is like a different author, and we'll see how that goes. But I do want to go ahead and continue doing these. If you guys have any book recommendations, comment down below. Again, remember, if you have a Goodreads account, follow me. I also have a Bookstagram on Instagram. I will put it here too if you want to follow me. I just kind of take pictures and talk about the books that I've read. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.